In the heart of the verdant Igbo land, nestled between rolling hills and dense forest, lay the village of Umudo. It was a place where tradition and community thrived, where stories of gods and spirits intertwined with the everyday lives of its inhabitants. Among these villagers lived a maiden of unparalleled beauty, Amaka. Her skin was as smooth and radiant as the morning sun, her eyes sparkled like the stars, and her presence was as enchanting as the melody of a nightingale. Amaka was a sight to behold, and her beauty was spoken of far and wide. Men from neighboring villages would travel just to catch a glimpse of her, hoping to win her heart. Yet Amaka, despite the countless suitors and endless admiration, harbored a deep-seated mistrust of men. This stemmed from a heart-wrenching betrayal by a man she once loved dearly, who cheated on her with countless women. This painful experience had turned her heart cold and resolute. "I will never live under a man," she often declared to herself and anyone who dared to inquire about her future. "Men are deceitful and cannot be trusted. I will not allow myself to be hurt again." Determined to take control of her own life and not fall prey to another man's whims, Amaka chose a path that shocked many. She decided to sleep with the men of her village for money. It was her way of asserting dominance, of making sure that she was never at the mercy of a man's fidelity again. The men, intoxicated by her beauty, willingly paid whatever she demanded. Amaka became both revered and scorned, a woman of great beauty and independence, but also one whose choices defied societal norms. Among those who observed Amaka's life was her childhood friend, Ugochi. Unlike Amaka, Ugochi had always felt overshadowed by her friend's beauty. While she was not unattractive, she lacked the striking allure that drew men to Amaka. Ugochi's envy festered over the years, growing into a dark and consuming hatred. She longed for a way to bring Amaka down from her pedestal, to make her suffer as she had suffered watching men fawn over her friend. Driven by jealousy, Ugochi visited a native doctor known for his dark and powerful magic. His shrine was filled with the eerie glow of candles and the smell of burning herbs. Skulls and animal bones adorned the walls, and the air was thick with the presence of spirits. "Great native doctor," Ugochi began, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anticipation. "I need your help to bring my friend Amaka down. She is too beautiful and loved by all the men in our village." The native doctor, a wizened old man with piercing eyes, listened carefully. He stroked his white beard thoughtfully before speaking. "The only way to achieve what you seek is to make the manhood of the men who sleep with her disappear. This will turn the village against her." He instructed Ugochi to bring him a pair of Amaka's underwear. With a wicked smile, Ugochi agreed and set about her plan. One evening, while visiting Amaka under the guise of friendship, Ugochi managed to steal a pair of her underwear. She returned to the native doctor, who performed a dark ritual under the light of a full moon. He chanted incantations, invoking spirits and binding the curse to the underwear. He then handed it back to Ugochi with strict instructions to return it to Amaka. "Make sure she wears this," he warned. "Only then will the curse take effect." Ugochi, her heart pounding with excitement and malice, returned the underwear to Amaka's home, pretending to have found it misplaced. Unsuspecting, Amaka wore the underwear and continued her life as usual. However, the curse soon took effect. Each man who slept with her woke up the next morning to find his manhood had vanished. Panic and despair spread like wildfire through the village. The affected men, humiliated and desperate, gathered and reported their ordeal to the village elders. The elders, wise and revered, summoned Amaka. As she stood before them, the men poured out their grievances, each one detailing the horror of his loss. Amaka was shocked and devastated, unable to understand what was happening. "I have done nothing wrong," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "I swear by the gods, I have not caused this." Among the crowd stood Ugochi, her heart swelling with pride and satisfaction. She watched as Amaka's world crumbled, feeling a perverse sense of fulfillment. The village elders, seeing Amaka's distress but pressured by the angry crowd, issued an ultimatum. Amaka, one of the elders, declared solemnly, "You have 24 hours to return the men's manhood or face the ultimate punishment. You will be burnt alive if you fail." Amaka, terrified and desperate, had no choice but to seek help. She visited every healer and spiritual guide in the village, but none could break the curse. The sun began to set, and with each passing hour, her hope dwindled. She knew that time was running out. As the moon rose high in the sky, Amaka remembered an old story her grandmother had told her about a wise old hermit who lived deep in the forest. This hermit, it was said, possessed knowledge and power beyond any other. With a heart full of desperation and a flicker of hope, Amaka ventured into the dark forest. The path was treacherous, with roots and branches clawing at her feet. After hours of searching, she finally found the hermit's hut, a small structure hidden amongst ancient trees. The hermit, an old woman with eyes that gleamed with wisdom, listened to Amaka's plight. She nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of the situation. "The curse placed upon you is a powerful one," the hermit said, her voice like the rustling of leaves. "But it can be broken. The one who cast the curse must be the one to undo it. Only by confessing her actions can the curse be lifted." With renewed determination, Amaka returned to the village. She knew what she had to do. As the first light of dawn began to break, she gathered the villagers and the elders. With a voice filled with resolve, she spoke. "I have been wronged," Amaka declared. "The curse that has befallen the men of this village was not of my doing. It was placed upon me by someone who harbors jealousy and malice. I know who did this, and I will reveal the truth." The crowd murmured in anticipation. Amaka turned to Ugochi, her eyes burning with intensity. "Ugochi," she called out, "you are the one who did this. You visited the native doctor and placed this curse upon me. Confess your actions and lift the curse, or the gods will not forgive you." Ugochi, her face pale and her heart racing, tried to deny the accusations. But the crowd began to close in, demanding the truth. The pressure became too much, and finally, Ugochi broke down in tears. "Yes," she admitted, her voice shaking. "I did it. I was jealous of Amaka and wanted her to suffer. I went to the native doctor and asked him to place the curse. I am sorry." The village elders, hearing Ugochi's confession, decided on her punishment. But first, the curse had to be lifted. Ugochi, under the guidance of the hermit, performed a ritual to undo the curse. One by one, the men's manhood was restored, and the village breathed a collective sigh of relief. Amaka, despite the betrayal, found it in her heart to forgive Ugochi. She understood the pain of envy and the destructive power it could wield. Ugochi was banished from the village, her heart heavy with regret and shame. Amaka, now free from the curse, realized that her beauty and strength could be used for more than just revenge against men. She decided to channel her energy into something positive. She began to teach the young girls of the village about self-worth, independence, and the importance of making choices that honor their true selves. Over time, Amaka's reputation transformed from that of a beautiful maiden scorned by love to a wise and respected woman who had overcome great adversity. She became a beacon of hope and strength for all the women in the village. Amaka lived out her days in peace, surrounded by those who admired her not just for her beauty, but for her wisdom and courage. She had turned her pain into power, her betrayal into a lesson, and her life into a story that would inspire generations to come. The moral lesson of this story is that true strength and beauty come from within. While external appearances may attract admiration, it is the resilience, wisdom, and kindness we cultivate that define our true worth. Envy and jealousy can lead to destructive actions, but forgiveness and understanding can pave the way for redemption and transformation. Always strive to make choices that honor your true self and uplift others, for it is through these choices that we create a legacy of positive change and inspiration.